do not adjust your set. I am actually reading a comic.
Geeks of the Week!
Hi, I'm Lulu. Welcome to Wednesday on Geeks of the Week. I have a lot to say, surprising no one, so let's get started. Alright. So, of course, Age of Ultron came out last week, and I have opinions. Normally I would leave this to the end of the video just so that people who want to avoid spoilers can do so very easily, but I kind of want to get the bad news out of the way first because I have some really positive things to say later on, so I want to end on the high note. So, I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible. I think most of what I have to say is kind of common knowledge right by now, but for people like Steph who have been living under a weeaboo rock the past couple weeks, if you would like to skip past this, please click the timestamp that's here, or possibly here. Wherever it is, click on it, and you will skip all the spoilers for Age of Ultron. Overall, I did enjoy the movie. I really honestly did. I judge all Marvel movies by did I enjoy it more than Guardians of the Galaxy, which I absolutely hated. Unpopular opinions time. So, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than Guardians of the Galaxy. I liked it better than Thor, because I don't really enjoy Thor. So, I enjoyed it. It's not super high on my list of MCU movies, though. And here's why. I had a lot of fun seeing it with other fans. I really enjoyed being able to dress up for it. People thought I was super cool. I didn't have to leave in the middle to go pee, which was awesome. It was overall an enjoyable experience. But if you've been watching this show long enough, you know that Black Widow is my girl, and so it won't surprise you that I'm not 100% happy with how she was portrayed in this movie. I will keep this short because I could honestly talk about this for ages. And nobody wants to listen to that, so I'll keep it short as much as I can, as best as I know how. I will preface it by saying that I am glad that it was made a priority to develop her character more. I feel like Whedon and his writers are basically throwing her as many bones as they can, considering she's basically never gonna get a fucking movie. And I also really like that they hinted at the fact that she might age slowly like she does in the comics, because I think it's said at some point in the movies that that's not true, but I mean, we all thought Coulson was dead, so who the fuck knows what's going on anymore. And I like that they showed parts of her past, which they haven't really discussed previously. So I liked those things a lot. So I'm really happy that she was developed and that she was made a priority in the movies. I just really hated that they used a romantic plot as the vehicle to do so. I mean, it was just kind of a cheap way to go, these two characters don't have a whole lot of development, let's make them start kissing each other so that we can learn more about them. I mean, I know in an ensemble cast movie that's a tall order to try and develop characters, but it didn't sit well with me. It's not that I'm not like a hardcore Natasha Clint shipper. I don't really ship Natasha with anyone, and that's probably my problem. I was just hoping that Joss Whedon, of all people, wouldn't fall into the trap of making the token female character a romantic interest. Sure, all the other Avengers have their romantic lives explored in the films, and that's great, but they're not made half the plot of a whole movie. And I just felt like it was the most obvious cliche thing to do with Black Widow, and I was really hoping that was the one thing they wouldn't do with her, and then they wouldn't did it, and that was just so disappointing to me. And the fact that she was kidnapped to advance the romantic plot and not the actual plot was basically a slap in the face. I basically question Joss Whedon's right to call himself a feminist at this point. I know he's not entirely responsible for the whole movie, because obviously there's Marvel execs involved, there's Disney execs involved, but I'm just really upset that was even part of the movie at all. And that's really the long and the short of it. Like, I basically, with the parts I liked, I basically agree with what Nikki said, so go watch her video if you want to know what I liked about it. Like I said, overall, I enjoyed it. It wasn't like watching Winter Soldier or the first Avengers again, like, it wasn't like that much of a religious experience, most definitely not, but I enjoyed it. Overall, like, as a whole, I wasn't disappointed. And I guess since I've already said that there's probably going to be spoilers in this part, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm really sad that there was no hint of Captain America 3. Really, really sad, because the whole time all I wanted was to see Bucky's beautiful face. I don't care if that makes me a sad fangirl, we all know I am. And that was like the one thing I was really, really hoping for, and I didn't get it. I at least know the movie's coming, but I'm like, I just want to see his face. Yeah. With that out of the way, let's talk about some awesome things. I finally got to go to Free Comic Book Day after years and years of it being a thing. I finally got to go. And it was a really positive experience. I really enjoyed myself. I didn't do much except sit there and try to sell things, but it was just really nice to just finally be a part of it, because it's such a huge thing in our world now. And more than anything, I think it just made me so happy to see whole families coming in together, all wearing t-shirts and costumes. There was a family that came in where, like, the dad was Clark Kent and the mom was Wonder Woman, and I can't remember who the baby was, but everybody, like, the whole family dressed up. It's so heartwarming to see that happening. And at the risk of getting too preachy or weepy, it's really comforting to see, like, I'm one of those people who's totally okay with geek culture becoming mainstream, because it's comforting. It's nice to know that it's becoming accepted now, and to see that it's something families can do together, it's just a really good feeling for me. And more than that is seeing young girls coming in with their families, wearing their Avengers shirts, wearing their Batman tights, you know, that is so awesome for me to see. Like I said, I'm trying not to get preachy, but, you know, it just makes me feel like, yes, there one day will be a world where Black Widow and Gamora aren't left off merchandise, and Wonder Woman doesn't have to fight to have her own goddamn movie. It makes me feel like someday that's gonna be the world we live in, where it's accepted that girls like those things, or more accepted. And, you know, we don't have to go into comic book shops and try and defend that we know our shit. That's the kind of world that these girls are building, and it makes me so happy, and I hope that they don't get bullied out of it, and that their parents can continue to be a positive influence for them in the nerdy world. And I know I'm getting preachy at this point, but it was just really, really awesome for me to see that, especially firsthand. And the guys at the comic book shop I was at, the guys who run the place, were really, really nice to us. Being in the shop was a great experience, and so I gladly dropped a ton of cash in their store after my shift was over, because I was just inspired by the whole thing. And so this is my stack that I got. I think my free ones are in here too, but this is, I also bought a new Captain America mug. It's big, like a soup bowl, so I use it for my oatmeal at work, because it's adorable. But anyway, I'm almost through this whole stack. I will do reviews, like really, really quick ones, of everything next week, because I'm not quite done. And I was going to talk about the free ones I got. I'll show you which ones I got. I got the JoJo's combined with Yu-Gi-Oh! Mostly because I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wanted to show some support for the few manga titles they had. The all-new, all-different Avengers, because, look, diversity, Avengers, I'm all about it. And, quite frankly, I got this for my boyfriend, not realizing this ridiculousness was on the back. So I picked up what I think are some really good titles. There's a few that I have some unpopular opinions about, but I did pick these based on, obviously, somewhat based on things that I already like, but some other things that I've just heard good things about from friends and Mario. And so next week I'm going to talk about these in more depth, assuming I actually get off my ass and finish them all. So, I've talked way too long, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys will enjoy seeing my thoughts on real comic books for the first time in forever. And if you haven't seen Age of Ultron, I hope you guys enjoy it. and don't let it send you into fits of feminist rage like it has with me. Have a good week. I'll see you guys next week.